Hi, welcome to Lessons from the Tarot. This is Keneilwe. Now reconnecting to infinite intelligence, the universal light grid programming, universal knowledge database. I receive. This is about how a really challenging experience turned into the most magical, the most romantic, spiritual, and empowering experiences that is still unfolding. So I'll start from the beginning. This is the Fool's Journey. The first card of the tarot, number 0. Yes, not 1. It's the first, but it's number 0. Think of that as like the blank slate, right? The beginning, going through a portal with fresh eyes, enthusiasm, excitement, bit of anxiety because of the thrill of, the unknown. Let me give a bit of a backstory. I think that would be necessary. So this Fool's Journey, I'd say, these are events starting, as recent as 2 months ago or something. But yeah, this is, ironically or unironically, just a month or two, a couple of months out of the hospital after my last suicide attempt. And I'm still in a state of cloudiness, I guess, and uncertainty. I'm literally still in the state that I was in before the event, right? Wondering what's next. Where do I go? And now it's a very troubling time, because now the reason I even tried to leave, it was because I had come to what felt like a dead end, right? Where I had rent overdue. I didn't know where I was gonna get money for rent, never mind the credit that I still have to pay, the months that I hadn't paid already. The threat of being homeless, or rather going back home, place where that didn't feel home anymore, like my 3D home where I grew up, where, I felt love, where I felt safe, where I felt strength, I guess, at some point earlier. But now a place that had become a weight on myself and become a symbol of regression. And so I really didn't want to go back home. In addition to that, my mom and I were not in good terms, on good terms. I mean, we still aren't, but so yeah, so it was, so I literally had no one else to turn to, in terms of like, how do I save this? You know, although this was not my first unaliving attempt, I hate that word. Suicide attempt wasn't my first. And to be honest, I wasn't depressed this time, actually. I was just frustrated. Um, I was just feeling hopeless and helpless. Um, but none of it had to do with being depressed. I was just tired of being here, of feeling stuck, of feeling like I'm, there is no, there's nothing more, there's no progression. And now that, pretty much the reason I had decided the last time to live, like to live, to try and live while I'm still here, since I can't seem to leave anyway. The reason I'm here is now not there anymore, my mom, right? Because the last time, after that experience, I had made a promise to myself that, not even a promise, but I had decided that suicide was now not an option anymore. Mostly because it just felt like I just had this, I guess, new understanding or new perspective that perhaps just as I didn't choose when to become, when to be born, I also can't choose when to die. Like, and after attempting to die so many times and failing, I just had gotten to a point where it was like not a valid option anymore, because seems to not be working. So I decided to take, like, okay, so now I figure out how to be uh, a body in this world. And I did it and I made it, and like soon I moved out of home into my first apartment. I I started living on my own, completely on my own for the first time, and that felt like home. Like I, after my entire life, 30 years, I think by then, or close to 30 years of life, feeling like I don't belong here, feeling like I don't understand why I'm here, feeling no sense of peace, contentment with being in this realm. After that being my entire life, or what I could remember, I finally got to a point where I felt so content. I felt so much self-love, like I've I I found home. And even though I still had, and I think I will always have this feeling that I'm not from here, that I will that I'm not really from here, that there is, I don't belong here, and at any moment I would choose 11 times out of 10 to go to leave, right? Even though that is still, like a core feeling or belief that I have, I had reached a point where I was like, oh, okay, this, I don't mind this for now. And so something about, like after achieving this one thing of like my own independence, right? And every day, waking up and going to sleep in this home that I have created for myself, and this home that felt like, I don't know, like magic. And I realized my God self. I realized I had so much time and space to be alone, truly alone, and to reflect, to introspect, and to heal, you know, and got to a point where none of all that drive, all that hurt, all that, depression had a hold or had a tinge on my, present at that time state. Like the past was the past. Like I was living in the moment, you know, living the way of the Tao, living radically intuitively. And my God, like doing what I love, which I'm an artist, visual artist mostly, but yeah, I'm interested in all types of art mainly. But as an artist and like being able to see myself, like create all day, every day at my own will, at my own time, in my own way, doing, what I love, and that sustaining this home that I had built for myself. So like this place, this place was really important to me and was a huge symbol, a huge symbol of my my worth, I guess. Just something that no matter what I would be going through, like the downs, just it was always there to remind me that I'm capable of more, that I'm capable of creating this haven for myself in an alien world. And so, it was an anchor to remind me that everything works out. I just need to do me, be myself, do what I love, feed what I love, you know, just live my best life, and everything eventually works out. Truly believe that. And at that point, just being here was that anchor whenever I feel like, oh my God, I could still be like, yeah, still gonna work out, right? So, you know, reaching a point where, I things were not working, the possibility of having to be evicted and having to now go back home. I don't know. I don't think my attachment was so much to this particular home that I had built, like physical home. Because I would being evicted would be fine if I still could choose to go somewhere else and build, another home for myself, right? Like moving to a new apartment or something. But what I definitely didn't want to do was to go back home. And it's not like home was like this horrible place, but just like something about being there. I keep using the word home, and it must be confusing, but I mean, like, yeah, the 3D home. Um, and something, yeah, I just knew that being there is just gonna drag my spirit down and back to my past self, right? And nothing about it symbolized a new start. Nothing about it symbolized a move forward. If anything, it's like either a dead end or a regression. And now my mom had turned into a stranger, basically, someone who didn't believe in who I was, what in my worth, in my capabilities. All she wanted was for me to be back there and dependent on her. Nothing that she was offering was to the benefit of my progression in life. And so being, like even her offering home as, like a place of retreat in that time, it wasn't coming from a genuine place of like offering refuge temporarily so that I can start planning to move on. It was it's just something that I'm still trying to figure out, but it's just like a way of keeping me down, keeping me stuck, you know? It's like, and so that is still not something that I'm considering now. So yeah, I did the attempt, and lo and behold, didn't die. Another failure. But so yeah. So then after waking up in hospital, realizing that, fuck, I'm still here, and still, and still seeing no difference in, the people in my life who, when who claim to be encouraging me to stay alive and like keep pushing. There was still no sense of support from them. And so now I'm back here. I still have no idea how I'm gonna pay rent, and like, and the bill is piling up. So after eventually going back to my mom's house for a um, while I wait to, while I try to regroup, thinking that it's a safe place. Um, I get a job opportunity, which was exciting. So, and also, it's close to my apartment. So I came back to my apartment for a bit, for the interview, and to hear what's up, and so I can go back home and like get my stuff and like finally move on, right? And then a friend reaches out, and I'm thinking, okay, they're also like in the middle of eviction because they can't pay. So I suggest, like, how about we split my rent and stay together for a while. And now this is something that I wasn't ideal for me, but I mean, if I want to keep this place for a bit longer, why, instead of going back home, why not, right? Um, so so then, okay, they come. Um, they were still deciding whether or not, they can actually, they should, no, they should actually um, stay here or go back to their home. I mean, I also was trying to see if, there's a good dynamic. It was for a few days. Things just got really weird really quickly. Um, and so, they, and after things got really weird really quickly, I think, it was like an unspoken decision that um, had to be made, that, okay, it's not gonna work, right? But now, here, here's where the story starts, right? So now, a friend of this friend um, is in is looking for a place to stay as well while they're transitioning as well. And, so, but now, this friend, the the friend that's connected to me, now they they warned me about this friend of theirs. At first, they were asking for them to stay with us just for if temporarily until they, find something. And but they warned me, and I knew exactly what it was like, that they were warning me, and I was so sure that hell no, right? That hell no, but at the same time, still open for them to maybe a day or two and they can leave, but under no circumstances are they going to stay here any longer, because I know this type of, I know it's going to end in disaster, right? I had a deep sense of, a deep intuitive sense that this is, this person is bad news, right? Um, deeply. I, I mean, I, they didn't even need to finish this sentence for me to just like say, oh, I know what you mean. Nope, right? And that starts the lesson of trusting your intuition, right? Had I trusted that deep knowing, I would have never got myself into a situation where I, like went against my intuition. So, this lesson on trusting intuition, I think the wildest thing about this whole story that I'm about to go into is how the same, person who completely threw me off balance, or rather, someone who, a symbol of, yes, the imbalance that I was to go through. How that same person introduced me to the tarot, like literally gave me the tool to see through the bullshit that they were bringing, that they were doing. Like, I still don't know why they thought. It still blows my mind. I mean, I understand how that's the magic of this life experience, that like that's the crazy, like trippy way life works sometimes, it's like, so this person giving you the tool to realize that they are not um, a good idea, you know, the tool to overcome the imbalance that them being in my life had catalyzed or had created. I just find that to be so poignant and so poetic. It's like my entire life has been this really fun. It's fun, right? I mean, there's a lot of there's a lot of crying sometimes, not a lot, but like it's daunting, it's crazy stressful sometimes, but like, okay, here's the best way to describe what life has been like since this experience, right? It's like you're, okay, I'm in this 4D game, right? This is no longer a 3D game. Or rather, I'm in this 3D game, but I have the, is it called the cheat code? Because I feel like, is it cheating when you have the instruction manuals? Because I feel like the tarot has been that, basically. It's like having the cheat codes to a 3D game, which allows you to now experience the game in 4D. Yeah, I think that's like the best way I can experience. I can think that's like the best way I can explain it. This game that is super difficult, but you have, you know, like the manual or the cheat codes to figure it out and like advance and know, you know, more about it, so it makes it more exciting and more fun. I mean, you know, yet without being predictable, like in a boring way, because I one thing I do not want like about this life or 3D game world is the predictability of it. And so one of the things that I've, you know, always thought or had a misconception of with tarot or any kind of divination is like, you know, like I feel like knowing too much about what's gonna happen kind of takes away from the excitement of living, and so like, but it also turns out to be very unpredictable, right? But also adding like a layer of excitement because now you feel more empowered to take action, right? Because now you understand better why things, why the actions that you've taken before didn't work. You know, it's like, you know, you have a greater understanding of like how this game works, and so it starts becoming a lot more fun when you start you know, trying out these new ways of going about it, right? So so that's been really interesting. That's been like a trip. Every day is a trip, and I thought that you know, I mean, I've always thought life is a trip, but like now it's like literally in 4D a trip, and I'm here for it. I won't lie, I'm here for it. I'm here for it. It's a lot, but I'm here for it. It's and I'm not really one for games because I've always thought like this an element of boringness, but this life game is like something else. And me realizing that I am the source of this game, and but at the same time, there's a lot about how that even is possible, right? But then I've gained a sense of appreciation of how detailed and fucking complicated I decided to make this game. Like, it's impressive, right? And heartbreaking sometimes because I'm like, why would I do this to myself? But it's like, but damn, that was that, like, kudos on making it complex as fuck. Like, kudos on that. Very impressive. I tip my hat to the Universal Light Grid programmer, to myself, honestly. It's God, it's genius. Genius. I am genius.